Hey gang, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to take a look at the Gibson Les Paul Standard 50s that, well, to be honest, Gibson kind of screwed up. Now, Gibson has taken a lot of crap over the years from a lot of people about their quality, myself included. So when I say Gibson kind of screwed this up, let me explain. This is a standard Les Paul 50s edition, but it left the factory with reflector knobs and Grover tuners, which normally come on the 60s model, not the 50s model. And it even shows in the little, workbench snapshot that, that they put in a case, or I guess they used to put it in a case. I think in 2023 they quit doing that. But it even shows on there that, it's got the Grover tuners and the reflector knobs, and that would be a 60s thing. So you might think, well, they just messed it up on the card. They wrote 50s and it should have been 60s, but it's got the 50s neck profile, the larger profile, and it's got the Burstbucker, 1 and 2 pickups in it, which would be on the 50s. And it's a Heritage Cherry Burst, and Heritage Cherry is not even available on the 60s model. So it's definitely a 50s model, but somebody there just put the wrong reflectors, the wrong knobs, and the wrong tuners on it. Now, I knew I was going to put locking tuners on this anyway, so the Grovers, that didn't bother me. And honestly, I like reflector knobs, so that didn't bother me either. But obviously, somebody at Gibson, when it went through the checks and everything like that, they should have caught it, and they didn't. So insert your Gibson quality jokes here. Now, despite Ace Frehley being one of my, main guitar heroes, I've never been a huge Les Paul fan. Sure, I like them. I've owned Les Pauls, over the years. And, but I've always kind of liked SGs more. They're lighter. I tend to like lightweight guitars. And that's one of the things that attracted me to this particular one here, because this one is very light. It weighs 7 pounds and 15.5 ounces. So half an ounce under 8 pounds. But for a Les Paul, that's a great weight, especially one of these, because they are not doing weight relieved, bodies in these. So a guitar, one of these Les Pauls under 8 pounds is definitely lightweight. It's got a one-piece mahogany body. So I don't know if they're all one piece now or not, but I think that, maybe might have something to do with, why it's lighter than normal. Looking, at the weights on these, I've never seen another one this light, but I have seen some, just over 8 pounds, 8 pounds and 3 ounces, 8 pounds, 5 ounces, something like that. But I have seen ones that are almost 10 pounds too. So when I picked this one up and found out how light it was, I was definitely in on that one. Also, on my Les Pauls, for some reason, I like a little bit less flame. I like to save my really flamey guitars for like, maybe my Paul Reed Smith guitars or my Ernie Ball Music Man guitars. On a Les Paul, I like, more subtle flame. This one does have subtle flame, but it's actually kind of cool because it's got some flame going this way and this way, and it's got some cool, mineral streaks in it. So I really like the look of it. Like I said earlier, you know, having the Grover tuners instead of the Kluson tuners didn't bother me. I knew I was going to put locking tuners on this. I did go ahead and put some of the Graphtec locking ratio tuners on there. They're my locking tuner of choice. I really, really like them. And then the rest of the hardware, it's just got an ABR1 bridge and a lightweight aluminum tailpiece. The nut on this guitar is a Graphtec nut, and like I've noticed, you know, on a lot of the new, you know, recent Gibsons, the nut work on them is a lot better than it used to be. The nut slots, you know, were the right depth for really nice action, and they were cut, you know, really, really good. Now I did do what I normally do, you know, on a Gibson style headstock, which is kind of round, you know, round over. You know, the ends of the slots. It's a little trick I learned from Mike Adams. If you're not following him, he's got a great YouTube channel. But, you know, I kind of round those out with my nut slots and then use some really, you know, good, like maybe 1500 grit, you know, sandpaper, just kind of polish the slots up a little bit. And the guitar stays in tune really, really nice. They did a good job on this nut. Another thing I really like about this particular one is it's got a really, really nice piece of rosewood for the fretboard. And the fretwork is really, really nice on this guitar. And I think a lot of that probably has, you know, has a lot to do with Gibson uses a Plek machine, you know, on all their guitars now. So, you know, a lot of the recent Gibsons that, you know, that I own and you know, have played all seem to have really, really nice fretwork. Moving down the electronics, you know, your usual Les Paul fare, three-way switch, volume and tone for each one of the pickups. The pickups, like I mentioned earlier, it's got a burst bucker 1 in the neck and a burst bucker 2 in the bridge. And the pots they're using now are you know, what they're calling the audio taper pots, and they got a really, really nice sweep to them, which is one thing that I've noticed. And you know, really, really high quality wiring. You know, no more of that PCB board, you know, stuff in here. It's actually hand wired, you know, orange drop capacitors and all, you know, all that. Really, really nice electronics. We'll do some tone samples for you, and like I always say, that means we're going to do the same riff that we always do, among some others. while I'm not a Les Paul fanatic, I think everybody, needs a good Les Paul in their collection, and I'm happy to have this one in my collection now. Like I said, really, really like the lightweight. Love the way it plays, love the way it sounds. Want to thank you guys for checking it out with me. We'll see you next time.